On behalf of our team at RDIC, we would like to welcome Stephanie Edward-Flota and Gavin Cambos. They are here this afternoon to discuss the type of work they do, training they received, characteristics that they would look for in a candidate, the career opportunities, salary expectations, and the working conditions. Just a reminder before we begin that after you watch this presentation, please complete the survey found on our website, either by using the QR code or going to www.rdic.ca. By completing the survey, you're automatically entered to win a $50 gift card, which will be drawn for at the end of every month. Also, please hit our subscribe button on our YouTube channel to keep informed of what's new and upcoming at RDIC. Thanks again to Stephanie and Kevin for this informative presentation to help students in their quests to make a better choice about their future employment opportunities. Take it away.
Thanks, Doug, for having us, and thanks to RDIC for letting us host this. My name is Kevin Cambos, and my colleague here is Stephanie Edwards-Flota, and we're very excited to talk about wealth management today. We both work at CIBC with Gundy here in Regina. You may ask, what is CIBC with Gundy? We are a full-service brokerage arm of CIBC. The bank, which is a bank that you guys are pretty familiar with seeing on the streets. We service high net worth clients and manage their wealth. I'll give you a quick beginning of my educational path and my career. My title at CIBC with Gundy is I'm a client associate. I've been in my role for about 4 years now, and I'll give a little background about myself and where I started off in university and whatnot. So I have a degree in finance and a certificate in economics from the University of Regina. And ironically, I kind of didn't start in finance. I actually began in pre-med at the University of Regina. And I kind of lost interest in my third year, and I transferred to the Paul J. Hill School of Business. Beginning in the Paul J. Hill School of Business, I got numerous opportunities for education. I got to do some co-op terms and some study abroads, which gave me immense amount of experience outside of just the textbooks. My two co-op terms that I had was first was Greystone Investments in town here. Greystone Investments is an investment firm which manages money for pension funds. I worked in the back office there, which was something a lot of people don't get to do, which I got a great opportunity to kind of see what the behind the scenes of a financial organization is. And I got to appreciate the day-to-day what goes on in a financial organization, which was really nice to see. And my second opportunity, second placement, was at Scotiabank, also a name that you guys are all probably familiar in seeing. And I got to work as a financial advisor at a retail bank. I got an opportunity to work in the branch. I got to open bank accounts, work on mortgages, and get to deal with people that come in and out of the branch every day, which was really nice to see. Those are great opportunities for me to be in a workspace and see things day to day versus kind of being in textbooks, which was really nice. I got some international experience too through the Paul J. Hill School of Business, and I got to do a couple study abroad. I got to live in China for a month, in Shanghai, and I got to learn about international business, which was a great experience. And which was also something about China, which I really liked, was something how business is conducted out there, and I got to compare it to how we conduct business in the Western world, which was fantastic. Another work term I had done was actually in Sydney, Australia. Lived out there for a few months, which is another great way of meeting people. I lived in a building with international students, so there's people from all around the world, which is fantastic, and you got to see people from different backgrounds. And again, it was just something outside the textbook, outside of school, which was really nice to see, and I got to learn a lot about. Throughout my university career and schooling, I worked at Ranchero as a youth care worker, also very different from the career I currently have in finance, but I always had a passion for working with children, and that was something that got me by in school and working, which was really nice, and just a different background coming into this industry. So when I decided on something, on a career, I kind of took all my experience and I was like, what do I really like enjoying doing? So I enjoyed the banking side of things. I enjoyed the finance side of things. I enjoyed the international experience I got from doing the study abroads. And then I kind of enjoyed the communication I had with kids and adults and seniors, citizens, and everyone else, like, what would be a cool job? And I kind of landed as a career as a client associate at Wood Gundy. As I mentioned, I'm a client associate. I have a title as a chartered investment manager designation, as well as I'm insurance licensed. And currently I'm able to provide advice to clients discussing investment recommendations on their portfolios. I've been involved in multiple internal training programs and external self-study courses, and I'm currently working on my certified financial planning certificate. My role as a client associate entails a lot. I partake in research, I have a lot of client communication, and I trade securities day to day. Our team manages wealth for high net worth families. We invest wealth to help them achieve their retirement goals and financial goals. And it's somewhat rewarding. We get to see how we could help ease people's minds on their investments and their wealth. I'll now pass it on to Stephanie here, and my colleague, and maybe tell her, and she kind of explain her path to CIBC Wood Gundy here.
Thanks, Kevin. Yes, my name is Stephanie Edwards-Flota, and I've actually been in the business for about 15 years now. I actually started with a different wealth management firm as a receptionist, interestingly enough. And in our industry, the receptionist is also known as the cage person. So sort of an internal name for that position. So I was a reception for a very short period of time, and we then moved up into more of an associate assistant role for some advisors in that office. I continued to do that, and eventually I became the branch administrator. So I was now in a managerial role, where I had staff to look after, and I obviously helped branch manager run an efficient branch for all of the advisor teams. And I was the branch administrator for about 8 years, and also being an assistant to some advisors. And during all of this time, increasing my education and the courses that are required to continuing sort of a, career path. And I'll touch a little bit more on the sort of educational requirements in a moment. And then, the opportunities sort of continue to present themselves in different parts of the business. I worked with our head office for a period of about 6 months, where I was traveling around Western Canada training hundreds of people in our firm on new technology rollouts. And once those projects were done, I joined a team more on the advisory side, and have continued to grow in that respect. I've also been at CIBC Wood Gundy now for about 4 years. Kevin and I started about the same time on the same team, and I'm currently now a portfolio manager and the associate investment advisor on the team. So, currently in my role, I probably spend most of my time on straight investment work, so doing portfolio work, trading securities, research, and obviously client facing. So, holding reviews with clients and discovering where we can continue to help them reach their sort of financial goals. So what's interesting about our industry is, probably if you think back to the 1980s, you think of a broker who works on kind of a transactional basis, selling stocks to people on the phone. And the business has really changed a lot, whereas now, under kind of a wealth management umbrella, when we take a more holistic approach to the client's needs. So for example, doing a financial plan, involving private banking, will and estate planning, and, really sort of a team of expert approach to every client and what their kind of needs are, because every client is going to be different and their financial needs are going to be unique. Yeah, so I think, Kevin, I'll hand it back to you to continue on.
Yeah, so we focus on intergenerational wealth management. We focus on everyone being involved. It could be grandparents, parents, and children. And so every family we look at in a unique way, right? No family is different. So we don't have a cookie cutter model. Family A might be very different than family B, which is really different from family C. And we manage our wealth differently and according to how the risk tolerance is, and how we think that is fit for them to manage their money, and we take care of that for them. Now going back to something else that we got some information on, like, where do we work? That might be a good question you're gonna ask. So with COVID times, me and Stephanie obviously are working at home. But prior to COVID, we would be we'd work in an office environment, professional environment, where we're professional attire. We would host meetings in the office, in our offices, or even the boardrooms. For equipment, really, we kind of work off our laptops and our headphones, and we're on the phone lots during the day or in meetings. That's a lot of our day, or trading or watching the markets. So a lot of our day is sitting on the computer, being in our offices. And yeah, I don't know, Steph, did you have any comments on our work environment?
Yeah, I mean, it's typically a Monday to Friday type scenario for the majority of people. I think obviously with increased responsibility, whether you're an advisor, branch manager, you're probably working a little bit more than, 8 to 4. There's probably some evening work. It sort of depends on the position you're in, right? I'll just maybe touch on the sort of educational path that, is, sort of the basis of the industry. So the Canadian Securities Institute provides online education, and the main requirement to get into the business is to take your Canadian Securities course and to take the Canadian Conduct and Practices Handbook. And those two courses combined allow you to get your entry-level licensing. Your entry-level licensing allows you to trade, but not provide advice to clients. Once you take some additional internal courses, depending on the firm you work for, you can then become licensed to provide advice to clients. So, anyone who's in our industry will have those levels of licensing at a minimum. And from there, obviously, you can increase your various licenses. For example, you can get your insurance license. I have that. I also have my certified financial planner level 1. I also have my certified investment manager designation. So basically through the Canadian Securities Institute, you continue to build on those educational skills that can obviously increase, your capacity with a career in this business. As an advisor in the business, it can be very lucrative. You sort of want a person that has an entrepreneurial spirit. As an advisor, you are building a business, right? So you are gaining new clients, meeting new people, learning about them and what their financial needs are. And so, that entrepreneurial spirit to go out and to continue to build your business, obviously will translate into a higher, level of income. You're building your brand as a business and as advisor, and learning to differentiate yourself from, other advisors in the business, because there is thousands of them in the country. And even as an associate or client associate, the majority of people now work on teams. And so you typically have a senior advisor, an associate advisor, client associate such as Kevin, and some assistants that obviously will help with the operations of the team in terms of paperwork and documentation that we are required to utilize day to day. It is certainly a high pressure environment, whether you are an associate or an advisor. We are very much driven on the day-to-day basis by the markets. Whether you're trading specifically during the day, the markets and the news around the markets are a big driver of what we do, how we do it. And so, everything is sort of time is of the essence. And so, it's a very fast-paced environment to be in. So most people who thrive on fast-paced life do well in this particular industry. Salary-wise, there is a huge variance. When you're walking in the door with no experience, you might be at the lower end of the salary spectrum. And then obviously as an advisor, it really is the sky's the limit as you build your business, like I mentioned, and you are gaining new clients and bringing in assets. that will speak directly to how your income does increase. Most of us, because we are owned by CIBC, the bank, we certainly benefit from the health benefits. So, various types of health coverage, whether that's for dental or medical. So there's certainly perks to that. And, obviously there is a pension and ownership as well to that. So, and that's going to depend on which particular firm you might be working for, where the benefits could vary. Yeah, Kevin, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
Maybe just rewards. Maybe what do we enjoy talking about our jobs and whatnot? I think the one thing is we get to help clients achieve peace of mind on their wealth. Right? We get to build relationships. We get to build trust with clients that they could give us a call whenever they need our assistance or advice on something. That's something that's really rewarding to me. I know Steph as well, and to the team, as we get to build and meet and understand people's day-to-day lives, and we build great relationships with all of our clients. And I think it's really rewarding, and it's awesome on a day-to-day basis. Besides that, I know Steph had talked about work-life balance. We do work Monday to Friday, and sometimes we do have to work on the evenings and weekends. It just depends on clients and client requests. And as Steph had mentioned, we are running a business at the end of the day, right? So we have to make sure that everyone's satisfied with our work. And if they have questions or concerns, then we can answer it to our best abilities and get back to them as fast as we can as well, right? So yeah, it's not as easy as 8 to 4 cutting it off or done. Sometimes there are some emails you have to stay up late for, or give a couple of calls once in a while. And yeah, but overall, I think right now we've kind of made our points, and let's see if Doug and Renee, if you guys have any other questions that we could kind of answer for anyone, that'd be great as well.
One question I have would be the difference between a financial planner versus a broker. I think there is a difference there, quite a bit actually. Could you clarify, please?
Yeah, certainly. So a financial planner is actually governed by a different body. And so their responsibilities and the role that they play is quite different than, a broker. So the financial planner really works with the client, on a overall financial picture. So, there would be typically what you would call a discovery meeting, and you would, gather as much information from that client on what their financial goals are, whether that's, I want to retire with this amount of money. I also want to plan to leave money for my children when I pass away. I plan to take one vacation every year, and so the financial planner will take all of those pieces of information and, basically creates a financial plan, which kind of says, okay, today, this is what your financial picture looks like. And this is what it can look like at retirement. This is what it can look like when you pass away. And so it gives clients an overall sense of their financial journey. And the financial planner can help them determine if there are things they need to adjust, whether it's increased savings or, adjusting the retirement age. So they kind of look at it from a slightly more macro view and how they can help the client achieve those goals. Whereas a broker, they would be more investment specific. So they are trading stocks, buying stocks, basically working with, sort of the investments on a more specific basis. There's certainly obviously, peripheral parts to the broker that they need to be cognizant of as they work in that sort of more specific investment side. But that's sort of the basic difference between the two.
Thank you for that explanation. It was well done. I'm going to ask the question as if I was a student watching this presentation, thinking, what type of personality does well? I know you said somebody that's driven, somebody that's ambitious, somebody that likes a little bit of stress in their life. So a student that's considering a business program, say the U of R, U of S, might do well in a career with you?
Yeah, so I think one of the key parts to any role in this industry certainly is attention to detail. Someone that offers critical thinking skills, someone that might be, who thinks outside the box, is more of a solution-driven thinker, that will ask questions in terms of efficiencies on how things are being done or could be done better. Obviously being a people person is a big part of it. We deal with many different clients. And so, being able to be relatable to your clients, being a real introvert, you might find that a little bit tougher. So that sort of outgoing nature would be, a part of it too. And in addition to, kind of what you had said about being driven, ambitious and eager to succeed.
Awesome, thank you. I think the interesting thing about this is my husband and I farm, and so we watch a lot of the agricultural markets right now. I don't know if you know the price of canola, it's absolutely crazy. Flax is going through the roof right now. But I'm thinking of something like GameStop and that whole, thing that's happening that I think a lot of students can relate to. And there's a bit of excitement there. And I think anybody that's interested in that, what would you tell students about markets like that? And I guess that's where maybe those late nights come in, where you need to stay on top of things and understand what you're sharing then with your customers.
Yeah, so the GameStop thing is, obviously exciting, all over the news, a lot of buzzwords involved there. That type of scenario isn't something that, our team or sort of the higher wealth management that we get involved with in terms of short selling and, kind of the themes of the day, right? Those types of traders or those types of individuals that play that side of the markets, are looking at the industry in a different way. They're looking to trade to make a quick dollar, or, it's a lot riskier in terms of making that bet, when they're short selling GameStop or, buying Bitcoin on a risk. So it is an exciting side to the market business. It's not the area that we specifically play in. We are working with clients for the long-term game. And so our investment recommendations are certainly going to be geared around the long-term plans and not just the day-to-day buzzwords and let's make a quick dollar.
You're in it for the long haul, and as in that demographic that's getting ready to retire, that's reassuring too, that there's that big picture. Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Question. I think two things that really spike people's anxiety is probably for teachers, it's kids, because people really put a lot of pride in their children, and for you guys, money is the other, I think, things that trigger people's emotions. How do you minimize people's anxieties about their financial well-being? Right?
That's a great question. We deal with that every day. When the markets are volatile and going up and down, or, when we saw that huge correction last March when, COVID sort of took the world in a different direction. Part of our job is to, listen to clients when they're having those anxiety moments or anxious moments about, their retirement savings, and, hear how they're feeling, understand where they're coming from. And we are meant to be the voice of reason. So, for example, if a client was to phone and say, I'm feeling really nervous about the markets, I want to sell everything. And, part of what we need to be is that voice of reason to say, we understand the anxiety around it. But we also manage your portfolio so that we're not looking at your portfolio from an emotional standpoint. Because like you said, Doug, money and emotions go hand in hand. And so, our job is to sort of bridge that disconnect so that the emotional side of wanting to sell in a panic or buy when something is like red hot, we're meant to kind of smooth that out and work with the client so that they can get peace. And sometimes that may mean, we are going to, reduce some of their investments, but we're not just going to sell everything to cash unless there was a real strong case for it. So that we're making the emotional decision for them.
That was a very good description. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Sometimes we have to take that emotion out of things, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
What would be your prospect looking forward for young kids going into the business? What do you think it looks like for them? Is there a lot of room for new people coming in? No, not so much right now.
Yeah, good question. There's obviously huge opportunity in the industry. I would say that the industry, obviously, we are facing an aging population of advisors. And so, we need new advisors and younger people to come in to either take over those advisors' businesses. And so there is a real opportunity in that respect. There's actually a huge opportunity for women in the business. And not just with our firm, but firms across the board. There is currently a really big push to encourage women to join the business as advisors. There has been typically a lack of women in those roles. And so I'm actually I'm a part of a women's group in our firm where we talk about how we can promote the advisory role for women and how to encourage young women to get into the business.
Thank you. Any more questions? Well, thank you very much, you two. That's been very informative, and I hope that some of the entrepreneur classes use this information as well, right? So again, thank you very much, and thank Rich for letting this happen. And
maybe we'll get Steph to maybe put on that slide with our contact information if anybody's got questions or concerns as well.
Yeah, we're always happy to answer any questions or offer any other pieces of information if should that come up. Very much happy to help. So thank you, Doug, for the opportunity.